They tied me up. They shot my parents. But the knots are tidy. The house too calm. What if the victim guiding police through the dark was the architect of the night? The quiet street listens like a jury. Gunshots split a Monday night. In the master bedroom, a mother falls. Down the hall, a father collapses. On the main floor, their daughter says she's bound to the banister, whispering to dispatch. The house holds a story that refuses to behave. Paramedics rush in. The father clings to life. The mother is gone. The daughter, shaking, repeats the invader story. Officers note curious details. Careful bindings, a phone somehow within reach, an alarm undisturbed. Doubt lands softly, then stays. Before the sirens, there was a family that arrived buoyed by promise. 2 immigrants building a life of order and upward steps. A daughter raised to excel. Each piano key and test score a stepping stone across a wide, cold river of expectation. Huey Han Pan and Bitch Han Pan worked long hours, saved methodically, measured success in report cards and recitals. Their daughter, Jennifer Pan, smiled on command, practiced until knuckles ached, and learned early how to breed fear into ambition. As classmates drifted into parties and first kisses, Jennifer drifted into perfection's theater, forged awards, altered grades, a stitched-together image. The mask worked, until it didn't. Secrets multiply like shadows when lights go out.
Daniel Wong enters, a boyfriend kept in the margins, a refuge from pressure and a spark for rebellion. Their messages pulse with clandestine hope, and later, something darker. Love becomes a ledger. What's owed, what's possible, what must disappear. When Jennifer's fabrications unravel, her world contracts. Her parents confiscate freedoms, impose curfews, and draw hard boundaries. She's grounded, then regrounded, living under watchful eyes. The house, once a hive, narrows into a cage. Pressure seeks a crack. Jennifer floats an idea, then sinks it, then floats it again. What if the problem isn't her lies, but the people policing them? In private threads, a new vocabulary arrives. Solve, arrange, clean. Line blur, then vanish. There are meetings in cars, whispers in parking lots, acquaintances who know other acquaintances. Prices discussed like renovations. A plan with moving parts, timing, doors, who will be home, and who must not survive the night. November 8, 2010. She texts coordinates, waits for the house to settle. The dog is away. Her mother watches TV. Her father reads upstairs. Outside, wind strafes the last leaves from branches. Inside, she rehearses the story she'll tell. They come through the door with practiced confidence, voices curt, faces hooded. She is tied to the banister, so the story will go, and ledgers of breath are kept carefully shallow. Upstairs, the house becomes a maze of footsteps and fear.
Shots in one room, a third in a hallway. A scramble, a fall, then a fleeing car's taillights thread the night. In the quiet after, she dials with fingers that find buttons too easily. Help is coming. So are questions. At the trauma center, surgeons fight clock and blood loss. The father, against odds, lives. In recovery, memory stirs like a diver surfacing. Snatches of voices. A daughter not where she said she was. Footsteps that don't match her tale. Back at the house, investigators walk the story. No ransacking. Cash sits untouched. Duct tape edges look deliberate. Her bindings leave room to wriggle. And her phone. Why was it within reach? Doubt is now a map, and the pins multiply. Interview rooms absorb confessions in slow sips. Detective coax her through the timeline. She cries, then recovers quickly. Forgets, then remembers precisely. The camera never blinks. A story told too well starts to sound rehearsed. Digital traces ignore tears. Message logs roll like film credits. Times, routes, coded names, what ifs sharpening into whens. In between, daily life pokes through. Emoji hearts, casual jokes, like dandelions piercing asphalt. Weeks pass. The father wakes fully and speaks. He remembers the night, remembers seeing his daughter free, walking, not bound. The room chills. Police widen the net. The narrative tilts. Gravity changes teams. Arrests fold quietly, in doorways, in parking lots. Friends of friends become suspects. Suspects become linchpins. The line from fantasy to planning appears in indelible ink. The case stops being fog and becomes weather.
There is a rehearsal in a gymnasium-sized room. Detectives ask her to retrace the route through her home. She points, steps, demonstrates. Cameras drink in posture, pacing, precision. The choreography of her memory betraying its choreographer. Texts before doorbells, calls placed and deleted, cell towers lighting up like breadcrumbs. Across the seam, a motive. Freedom from control, and the insurance of inheritance. Cold arithmetic where love should be. Defense argues pressure, parental iron, a mind buckling under years of command. But pressure explains pain, not planning. The jury will be asked to separate sympathy from evidence and noise from the one true note beneath it. Climax gathers quietly. The father testifies through grief that feels like weather. He remembers pleading. He remembers a daughter walking freely past him. Each word is a nail. You can hear the room stop breathing. Digital forensics seals the seam. Time-stamped pings, cash withdrawals, coded texts clarifying into commands. The plan was not a flash. It was a schedule. Jurors lean forward as if gravity itself is insisting. Cross-examination tightens. Small lies topple bigger ones. Why was the bind so gentle? How did she call without panic? Why untouched valuables? Each answer adds a layer of quiet thunder over the narrative she brought into the room. Closing arguments strike like a metronome. Motive, means, method, aftermath. A portrait emerges. Careful, persistent, and finally, lethal. The defense plays a softer song. The jury leaves to decide whose music lasts. Verdict day. The courtroom feels like a held breath. The foreperson speaks. Guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder. A life sentence begins as doors swing, and the gallery clutches the wooden rails like a shoreline. From the victim impact statement, a father who lost a wife, and in a different way, a daughter. He severs ties. The house, once ambition's workshop, becomes a mausoleum of small domestic echoes, now supervised by silence. Neighborhoods heal in layers. The lawn gets mowed again. Kids bike past, glancing, then forgetting. But at night, the streetlights remember. This is the trouble with stories. Once you hear the twist, every earlier scene reads differently. People ask why. Pressure is not a map to murder, only a wind. Choices cut the path. Between love and control, a chasm opened, and someone chose not to build a bridge, but to burn one. The ember glowed in private. The town saw the ash. A quiet street, a furnace kicking on, wind combing bare branches. Then the 911 echo that launched an inquiry and revealed a playwright behind the curtain. Truth here arrived not as thunder, but as accumulation.